Always another poem, even when not a poem. Fish are swimming and birds are singing. It's summer indoors, and soon I'll get out. Where are the horses today? There's more than a few indoors, but I want more, living and real. Moody Blue was the horse I rode on the trails of Chicago. We rode in the winter too, one Sunday through a blizzard all the way to Dunkin' Donuts. It's a true story. We didn't expect it. Snow, like magic. Moody raked his blurry head through the storm like a general. That horse was so easy to ride, and he loved to jump, not to mention how magnificent he was, dapple gray, black and white, at 16 hands and stocky like a draft horse. The highlight of my childhood weeks, riding Moody Blue on Sundays. I moved here after college and promptly had an accident in Central Park, at a time you could take a horse out by yourself. I was with my friend April, who rode a chestnut mare. I was on a pale gray gelding whose name I can't remember. The stable hands told me to give him his head if he wanted to run, which seemed odd to me. There were joggers and bikers on the trails, and one had to be careful. But I didn't question it. On horseback, April and I were ecstatic, horse lovers from our earliest days, painting them before we learned how to ride. Picking through traffic, we got to the trail, and my little horse wanted to run. I didn't think it was safe and halted him, and from a momentary standstill he took off at full gallop, before I could rein him in. Even on the short rein I managed, he charged with his head against my sternum, streaking past April on her galloping mare, and closing in on the street outside of the park. Later someone told me I should have seesawed him. Long story short, I fell off, more on instinct. Otherwise, we'd blow into traffic like a hurricane. What a mess! I weighed the odds, but had no idea how to roll off a racing horse, and did it badly. When I opened my eyes, I was on the ground, a jogger leaning over me and holding my fingers. Turns out he was a doctor, with no Valium on hand. When I'd asked him, he said he wished he had some for me. He asked if I could move my toes, which I could. Surprisingly, the hospital residents never asked me that, after literally 40 x-rays, when they told me I may have fractured my spine. Before leaving the park by ambulance, I'd had a great send-off. April was crying, which moved me. I felt so bad for her. And all the joggers crowded around me as I was hoisted up on the stretcher. I felt important and waved like a queen. Even my horse had doubled back to nuzzle me on the dirt. He didn't mean to hurt me, and I think he felt bad. A stable hand riding by barked at me to get back on the horse. But the doctor, from his leaning position on the ground, said, "I'm a doctor. She stays." Snotty stable hand knave. Got what she deserved. Within a year, April moved away, and we didn't stay in touch, which can happen with old friends, even friends as sweet and kind as April. I remember once in the Midwest when we were in college, at a party, a friend of mine spotted April for the first time, transfixed by her, completely blown away, and he couldn't stop staring. But he was shy to approach her and lurked in corners, shadowing her through the night, everywhere she went. She had no idea, but I did, and I watched him intently. I knew he was thunderbolted by her. She was so beautiful. Not long after college, they married and moved to New York, a beautiful couple, and then they moved away. April and I had only a short time together here, and only rode together that one time. Years later, I ran into her husband at an opening in Chelsea, and when I craned my neck for April, he told me she wasn't there, due to having died of lung cancer a while back. But they had two beautiful children, he said. They're saving grace.